At Direct Service Garage Doors, we are your one-stop shop for all things garage door. From garage door repair and broken spring replacement to new garage doors and openers, we do it all. We're proud to be among the highest-rated local garage door companies in all of Central Arkansas. Our highly trained technicians are available 24 hours a day at no extra cost to you. So if you have an emergency, call us today, 501-244-3667, or visit our website at directserviceoverhead.com. Don't wait days. We'll fix it now.
This Razorback team stepped up big time. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, yeah. You deserve to take your shirt off. Hey. Yeah. Let's go. You deserve to take, because they could have easily folded in when Kansas made their run in the second half. But the line. That was led by Devo Davis. The little things. A lot of...
I'm feeling it, baby. I'm still feeling it. I'm here, and I'm still feeling it. I haven't come off the cloud yet. Let's do this. 3, 2, 1. Yo, what's going on, Arkansas Razorback fans? Welcome to the Monday show, Tuss Talk with Ty. I am, of course, Ty Hudson, owner, creator of this here fine show, establishment, whatever, digital establishment, if you will. Really good weekend. If you're an Arkansas fan, had to appreciate what happened over the weekend. How about Tennessee dropping a series to Missouri in baseball? Oh God, you just love to see it. It's fantastic. Oh, chef's kiss. On top of Arkansas, of course, advancing. That's awesome. You know, sweeping Auburn in baseball. It just doesn't get any better. Missouri losing in basketball. You know, the team that's better than you with their first-year head coach. We're better than you. We're better. Why? Because we beat you that one time. Psh, get the hell out of here. We have a better record. Who cares? It's about what you do in the NCAA tournament. That's what matters. That's what matters. You couldn't advance. We could, because that's what we do. 3 years in a row. Three. You see that? Sweet 16s. Listen, even if Arkansas doesn't advance, UConn's good. We're not breaking down UConn in this one. That will come on Wednesday. Of course, we know tip-off's going to happen on Thursday. Arkansas and UConn going to be an interesting matchup. We'll get into that on Wednesday. But all these other teams talking that shit, where you at? Where you at? The only two teams to advance in the SEC are the very two teams you probably would have guessed at the beginning of the year, Alabama and Tennessee, and Arkansas in the mix. It's almost like it all came together, like those preseason predictions ended up being correct. Oh, these are going to be the three best teams in the SEC. Guess what? They proved that they belong there, and then some. Proving that you belong there is getting at least past that first game, right? Getting into the round of 32. And then really proving like, yeah, we don't just belong here. We're here. We want to stay, and we've got the talent to do it. We've got a good on the floor package, product, whatever you want to call it. That means getting to the Sweet 16. Now it's really like this is where it gets. This is rubber meets the road right here. So I'm hyped up. I'm still excited. I'm so happy Arkansas still in this thing. You guys know that postgame show was incredible. Oh, my God. They always are after big wins, but that one especially. Fantastic. Hope you guys enjoyed that little preview I put together. Maybe we'll play it again at the end. One of those videos, so we know one of those is from the CBS broadcast. Another one, I'm not sure who that was. I caught a retweeted version So I don't know who came up with the original video. One of those belonged to Dan Angle, the on the floor view of Musselman taking his shirt off. I always want to try to give credit where credit's due. Yeah, I mean, I spliced up the video, but the actual footage, one of those, it's a real quick shot, like 3 seconds, belonged to Dan Angle. The other shot looks like an Instagram live. I don't know where that's from. So if you guys know, let me know so I can give them credit. I don't ever I'm not someone who's going to take someone else's video, chop it up, and then, call it mine. I want to make sure I give credit. But yeah. All right. Whoo, boy, it's man, oh man, did you guys see those Texas fans in the audio or in the crowd calling the Hogs? Chef's kiss once again. Feels good. All right. I love that we're the underdog. Yeah, right now UConn is favored. That is right. Matt says, "Pop off, King." Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. Share the content. Even if it's not on social media, share it to your Uncle Dan, your Uncle Bob. Share it. Be like, hey, this guy, listen, his shows are wild. They're crazy, and they're fun. Ty, did you watch Nick in postgame? Very interesting piece. I did see that. If you're talking about him tearing up, I mean, he obviously was feeling it, man. I mean, he probably, I think he felt pretty bad about, not having the production on the floor. He didn't have a good game. Cut into his minutes a little bit. We saw a certain package on the floor that looked better, and it happened to not include Nick Smith, which is, that was kind of a conversation we were having in the postgame show. How much did this actually hurt his paycheck, right? What he could make in terms of being a lottery pick. I still think he's a lottery pick, but he's dropping. And no one's talking about Anthony Black. Anthony Black, although he's not looked terrible, I don't know. Again, 6'7" point guard. He's got long reach. If you try to stand up and shoot over him, good luck. He's probably going to – he's got 2 blocked threes in this tournament so far, I believe. But I did see that, and I felt really bad for Nick. He had nothing to gain by coming back. Unless he just completely thought, I'm going to come back. I'm going to show I'm the MVP. I should have been the guy. Had I played all year long, I would be the guy in the SEC. I'd be SEC Player of the Year. Maybe he was thinking that, but I think he wanted to come back and win. We know he didn't practice the day before. I really think I think he's risking a lot coming back, and I know the people around him know that, and they were telling him that. So kudos to him, man. I mean, I really think this team. I think it was a combination of talent, length, size, athleticism, and heart, man. And as cliche as that sounds, it felt like they left it all out on the floor. Kansas did as well. Tip of the cap to them. I know they're still, and rightfully so, right? I mean, we would be too. They're butthurt. We'd be sitting here talking about it right now if this were Arkansas, and it could be after UConn. You hate it for them in those terms, but man, this is the big leagues. Suck it up, and you got to move on. And we're not them. We're Arkansas. We advanced to the Sweet 16. They didn't. So, but I think Arkansas kind of willed their way, especially Devo Davis in that second half. Arkansas continues to shine. This is not a fully loaded show. I have no idea how long this is going to go for. It could go for a full hour. We may cut it short at 30 minutes. I don't know. Really, all we have to talk about is just what we saw, because I want to wait for UConn. I want to wait to break that down until Wednesday. I've done a little bit. We watched them. We were. I was actually eating with some friends at the Walk-On restaurant. Is that what it is in Rogers? I think it's where the basketball team was at when they found out where they were seated at in the tournament. And is that where they were at? The Walk-Ons, right? The same place in Rogers. Anyways, we ate there and we watched Arkansas, the baseball game on one channel. They have a shit ton of televisions. It's pretty great. And then we saw Arkansas, or we watched a little bit of the UConn game later on there. So I'm biased. I'm biased because I think Odsall is a better environment. That's just me. All right. They are a sponsor of this show. Shout out to Nick and his staff over there. Those guys, listen, if there's one thing I know for sure, they've got a great environment, but they've got great pies, Odd Soul, Craft Bar Pizzaria, wonderful IPAs. They got all sorts of stuff on tap. I think I'm going to actually end up going there tomorrow. I'm going to have dinner with a friend of mine tomorrow. My boy D. Going to go hang out with him tomorrow at the Odd Soul. We're going to have some pie. I might actually try their calzone. Everyone keeps going on about the calzone. I'm like, but the pies are so good. But yeah, I think I might go with the calzone. I know the pies are good because they're great, but everyone goes on and on about their dadgum calzones, and they've got one. I think it's the Odd Soul calzone or whatever. I don't know. I'm going to try it out. And of course, I'm going to get something local IPA. Apex Tattoo Studio. They're also another awesome sponsor of this show. 479-278-2694 if you want to get some ink done. They can do it for you. The Apex, they also welcome walk-ons. If you mention Tuss Talk with Ty, you get 10% off. Apex Tattoo Studio, located at 201 South 19th Street in Rogers, Arkansas. Again, walk-ins are welcome. Try saying that 10 times fast. And last but not least, Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company. They offer same-day services, affordable outcomes, quality parts, free estimates, you name it. They can do it. A lot of 5-star reviews. 501-244-3667. Direct Service Overhead, Garage Door Company. They got your back. They got my back. So shout out to all the sponsors. Ty goes to Vegas. Nope, not going to Vegas. I'm staying right here. Although I've been to Vegas. I was a little banged up in Vegas. I was having some feet. I wore. My wife will tell you I made a bonehead decision with my footwear, and it killed my feet. But I was able to soak in the casinos, and we went inside a couple pretty awesome places. We went everywhere, up and down the Strip. Driving through it's pretty cool too. Vegas is one of my favorite cities. Vegas and New Orleans, man. I know people go on and on about the smell of New Orleans, and yeah, that's true. But to me, New Orleans and Vegas are like they're living cities. It's cool. You know, you don't really have anything like that. You don't have anything like that, close to that here in Arkansas. Dixon Street's great. Emma Street has been growing and blossoming in Springdale. Again, Odd Soul's there. A number of other places. You know, Black Apple's there. You name it, man. Emma Street's growing, but Dixon Street is great. It is everyone knows about Dixon Street, right? Especially Baker Mayfield. He knows it all too well. It'll get you. But Vegas and New Orleans are like two of my favorite cities. St. Louis, we went there over last summer, and you know, yeah, I mean, the zoo's awesome. The Arch, I've been up it about 15 times despite my fear of heights. It's not the same, though. Now, baseball, yeah, it's a great baseball town, right? St. Louis, of course, I'm biased. I'm a Cardinal fan, but it's the best. I think it's one of the best sports cities. St. Louis is great. Fayetteville's a very vastly underrated sports city. Thanks to the Razorbacks, they belong on the map, especially with how basketball's turned around. UConn smacked Bama. It will take another A-plus game to win. Anthony White says, lived in Vegas, and it's insane all year round. I want to go back. I do want to go back. I think the flights are not that bad out of X and A, by the way, if you're up here if you're in Northwest Arkansas. Oh, here we go. Ty didn't even believe we would get this far. Doubted us with everyone else. What a joke. Oh, bless your heart. I do recall changing my prediction. Maybe you missed that. Highway, is that your name? Maybe you missed that, but I did change my prediction before the game. Now, you've got to tell me, and again, you weren't here for the postgame apparently because I asked where your prediction was back when Arkansas was losing games. Assuming you're not just a troll, whatever, and this goes for anybody, right, trying to, Captain Hindsight this. Where were your predictions when Arkansas was losing games? Nick Smith comes back. They're dropping games. They get their shit tossed around by Tennessee. Where were you? I don't think anybody was putting Arkansas in the Sweet 16 or with a possibility of advancing in the tournament. I remember several people telling me, and I kept telling them they're in. In fact, I kept saying it over and over. They're in, they're in, they're in. Net rankings are saying that they're in. Where were you? Now, I did say, and I fully admit, I did not think they would advance. I really didn't. I didn't think Arkansas would advance. What did we see? The last 2 years, the product on the floor turned the corner. We could see it. I remember going into Musselman's second year, I said, with the talent, with Musselman, with this staff, that's a Sweet 16 team. I said that before the season. Now, of course, I play it by ear, right? As the season advances, as the season continues on, we have to make adjustments, right? And we've done that. We go week to week here, right? I don't just say something at the beginning and just, I have to take a step out. I have to take the fan hat off, and I have to look at it objectively. I have to take a look and see where they're at in that given point in time in the season. At the time in February of this year, I mean, so many people and several in live chat, including myself, I said, I don't think they're going into the tournament. But they ended up, the net rankings kept telling us they're going to the tournament. So I hopped on board. I said, well, net rankings say they're there. So they're there. We doubted the net rankings a little bit along the way. Nobody's perfect. Everyone makes mistakes. But I did switch my score before the KU game. It's out there. You can go read it. It's on the community page. And I said Arkansas is going to beat Kansas. They're going to advance. And they did that. Now, we'll discuss UConn. I have a job to do, right? My sponsors appreciate the honesty. I think Patreon supporters appreciate the honesty. I'm going to give you my honest-to-God opinion. Every game, post-game, during the week, you just never know. If we make a Final Four, if we make a Final Four, I won't know how to react. Oh, boy, they got quite the trip. And also, something else I've said since the get-go, this team can play with anybody in the country. Now, see, he's disappeared. Again, you call these guys out, they hop in. It's probably a troll. It's probably someone I pissed off in the past. Probably someone from another site or something. I'm sure I pissed somebody off, and they got to come in and shit talk. And then when I clap back at them, they disappear because they know they're full of shit and they're wrong. That's disappointing. Now, maybe Highway just really is trying to call me out. I don't know. Congratulations. But I'd said all year long they can beat any. I still think they can go toe-to-toe with anybody in the country. That's after getting swept by Alabama. That's after getting just destroyed by Texas in a preseason game. That's after Tennessee beat the hell out of you at their place. I still believe they can beat anybody in the country when they play their A game. And that doesn't matter what the other team does if they play their A game or not. Because of Arkansas's defense, their perimeter defense, because of how well they've played in the paint and the post, how well they are at getting to the free throw line, the fact they've been a top 15 block team all year long. They're up there. They guard the rim pretty well all year. They're blocking shots. Look what they're doing in the tournament. They're doing some stuff we didn't think they could do, despite not shooting the ball well outside all year long. I still said these things. I still said Arkansas could win on any given day as long as they bring their A game. And that doesn't matter if that opposing team plays their A game or not. And they've done that these last two games. They've done that. Arkansas's now, I don't know if they even brought their A game. Illinois, I thought they did. Kansas in the first half, they were settling for shots. I think they had 2 points in the first however many minutes it was, 3 or 4 minutes. It was pretty bad. They didn't play their A game. They played an A-plus second half, but it wasn't a perfect game, and they still found a way to get past KU. It was absolutely fantastic. It's kick science. It might be. No, I don't think it's kick science. That was a little bit more – it felt more like a dig at me. Kick science just doesn't like Musselman, period. I wonder how he's doing, man. Has anybody checked in on that guy? Boy, Mike Anderson fired. Musselman advances to another Sweet 16. God, must be hard. Ty, I really don't watch other teams considering our injuries. Has Devo been the most important player to any team this? Well, no, that's tough. I mean, Steven, that's a very wide, broad question, right? I don't watch all teams. I watch a little bit of Big Ten basketball, a little bit of Arizona, UCLA this year, a little bit of the Big 12. But I mean, that's tough to say. Is he the most important player? Let's say between Arkansas and Bama, right? I would argue that Bama, and you can say the same thing about Arkansas, they don't get to the Sweet 16 without a certain player on that roster, right? And that's Mr. Miller. You say the same thing about Arkansas and Devo. Devo and Miller mean a lot to their teams. Now, here's what's crazy. I think it was game 1. Miller didn't do a damn thing. I think he ended with 0 points. I don't think he had a very good game productivity-wise. From a scoring standpoint, he struggled, right? And they still found a way to win the game. You got to give them credit, man. I still think without Miller, they don't go on a Sweet 16 run. But they did. They have, and he was nowhere to be found. I think it was their first game, which I watched a little bit of. How sweet it is. I like that, Mike. Very well done. Even if we lose to UConn, I'll be happy with how the season ended, especially considering, again, how many of us were saying, I cannot see this team advancing. I mean, I said it. I own it. I own up to it. I said it. Absolutely. Ties on, getting the job done. Appreciate that. What's up, Mark? I didn't see you in chat. The voice of college football is in live chat, everybody. I just now noticed that. What's going on? St. John's trying to not pay Mike after firing him, too. Oh, I didn't see that. Oh. Uh-oh. Bama and Tennessee have a cakewalk to the Final Four compared to us. Not saying it's easy, but seems a lot easier than our path. Arkansas's path, now this does get difficult, right? This gets difficult. I've got so many. I get in the habit of just opening up like 500 tabs. Where is my bracket? There's so many tabs. I can't find it. Shoot. I'm not kidding. I think I have about 30 tabs open here. So Tennessee's got FAU, and they're going to end up playing. I think they advance past FAU. I know. Let's see here. Get this. All right. Yeah, FAU, a tough 9 seed. Wouldn't have, if you asked me who the best 9 seed is, I wouldn't have said FAU. I'll tell you that much. But Tennessee's got FAU. They got past Duke. I think we could all agree Duke was probably a better opponent than FAU. But, I mean, here we are. There was a point in time in the year during the regular season, and I watched Duke play. They did not look good. They didn't look cohesive at all. We know they've got raw talent. They're coming in with the #1 recruiting class in the country. And just like Arkansas, both of them had that in common, along with North Carolina, too. Watched all three, obviously watched Arkansas, watched North Carolina play a little bit and Duke play a little bit this year. Was never really impressed with Duke. Now, they turned it around, and obviously they advanced to at least the second round, which is probably not where a lot of their fans thought that Duke would end up if you look back a couple months ago. But Tennessee gets past them. Now they've got FAU. Kansas State, who I'm not sure if in my original bracket, because I'm looking at the NCAA bracket, I'm not sure if I know I had Kentucky and Kansas State in that round of 32. I don't remember who I had advancing, but Kansas State did win that game over Kentucky 75-69. Listen, 3 teams out of the SEC in the Sweet 16 is that's good. It's not great. It's not like, holy crap, they didn't set any records or anything, but I mean, that's not bad. You know, again, Tennessee over there in that East bracket getting in, they're going to have FAU. I agree. I think they have a little bit easier path, but I think they probably end up playing Kansas State in the next round in the Elite Eight. That's going to be a tough game. Kansas State has been impressive almost all year. They're in a very competitive basketball conference out of the Big 12. I would probably take Kansas State over Tennessee, but Tennessee's defense, Tennessee's defense is the best in this tournament. We've known that all year long. This is the best defense in college basketball. Alabama, I think at times kind of was ranked ahead of them in certain maybe defensive efficiency or something. I know they were up there. If they weren't above Tennessee, they were right behind. But I still think Tennessee's a better defensive team than Alabama. They're not as even on both ends of the floor. Neither game they've scored more than 65 points. They played Louisiana. They barely beat 58-55. They beat Duke 65-52. So I'm assuming this Tennessee FAU game, depending on how bad FAU's defense is, I don't know anything about FAU. This will probably be another mid-60s kind of game. They're going to beat you with that smothering defense, their ability to force turnovers. But yeah, they're going to have to end up playing Kansas State. Kansas State's tough. There is no one left that's easy, right? There is no like, oh, that's easy. I'm not sure after watching Princeton play. They destroyed Missouri, 78-63. They beat Arizona. They upset 2-seeded Arizona, 59-55. They beat Missouri quite convincingly, 78-63, and now they have Creighton. I'm not sure if that's an easy game or not. I mean, you assume the 15 seed's about to get knocked out, but the matchup of the Sweet 16 is Creighton, who's, finally mostly healthy, and they're showing it. They've been pretty good. Arkansas knows all about Creighton, losing to them earlier in the season. Alabama's got San Diego State. I think they end up playing Creighton, but I don't know, man. I mean, Princeton's kind of the Cinderella story. They are the Cinderella story, a 15 seed. Imagine that, the 15 and the 1 in the Elite Eight. Houston's got Miami. Miami is a tough 5 seed, man. Houston, I would argue, has had a pretty easy route. I almost believe Miami wins this game. Miami had to get past Drake and then Indiana. I think Indiana was that was the 4 seed there. And they won 85-69. They've got Houston. I think I'm going to go with Miami in that matchup. Xavier, Texas, that's a tough one. That's a real tough one. Xavier, who beat Pitt 84-73. I want to go with Xavier there, but I mean, Texas is really, they just keep proving me wrong over and over. So then you fast forward to Arkansas. Of course, we know they beat, I think, a solid 9 seed in Illinois. Their fans believe they probably should have been a top 6 seed. I think they were right where they needed to be at the 9. Arkansas wins that game mostly. I mean, they led, 36 and a half minutes of that game. I mean, they had a double-digit lead on how many different occasions. It was more than one, that's for sure. And Illinois was able to kind of, knock that lead down a little bit, get it down within 5, and then Arkansas, again, they showed up in the final minutes. And then, of course, Arkansas advances 73-63, and then all heart, gut, talent, leaving it all on the floor. Arkansas gets past Kansas. What a performance in the second half by Devo Davis, 72-71 over KU. I think these two teams are honestly neck and neck. I really do. I think they're both even. I don't know that Arkansas is that much better or that Kansas is. Maybe they just had things just not go their way. We know they got some guys a little banged up, but so does Arkansas. Musselman talked about several times this year having to reinvent this team multiple times throughout the season. It's pretty clear he likes what he has on the floor right now and what that rotation looks like. I'm wondering if Nick Smith moving forward doesn't lose more minutes. I'm wondering if Nick Smith might be a starter, but then, the minute he goes cold, all of a sudden Musselman's like, nope, I gotta put someone else on the floor. Same goes with Anthony Black. Is he going to be given time to heal up that ankle, and Nick Smith with that knee? But Arkansas is a little banged up. They're kind of limping into this game, so to speak, but I think I think they should be good to go. We'll see what Musselman has to say. But, yeah, Arkansas taking on UConn, the 4 seed. I think, listen, again, talent, length, all these things matter, right? The athleticism that Arkansas offers on the floor, fantastic perimeter defense. But they willed that ending. They willed it. Devo Davis and Ricky Council willed that ending. Jordan Walsh willed it, right? They made it happen. They believed that they could do it, and they did it. And it's just been fantastic to see through this tournament so far. I mean, it just really has. They're doing things that they didn't do consistently enough during the regular season to convince me and a lot of you and a lot of people watching this after the fact that they could do this, and they're doing it. Net rankings right now look pretty solid. 3 teams in the Sweet 16 out of the SEC. We'll see how many advance. I'm feeling pretty good that at least 2 get into the Elite 8. We'll have to wait and see. Kamani with 10 rebounds. He did. Kamani. I mean, there's so many unsung heroes in this game for sure. If we beat UConn, it's either UCLA or Gonzaga. That's a tough one. I want the Zags though. I want the Zags because they're so butthurt. I want them. UCLA would be a tough draw too though. Sills was on fire in that Kentucky game. Devo is a different guy come tournament time. X Factor. Yeah, and I think, too, my thinking was we probably would get Devo. I thought we'd get tournament Devo, hence why I picked him as the leading scorer in Game 1. He wasn't, but I thought we were going to get tournament Devo. He came close to it in Game 1. My reasoning for Nick Smith in Game 2 was because I thought he wasn't satisfied with Game 1. He was going to come out, and just bring it. His shots just wouldn't fall, and it kind of makes me wonder – kind of makes me wonder what we see in both Nick Smith and can Ricky Council and Devo keep this going. I believe quite firmly that Devo can keep this going. Doesn't mean he's going to be the leading scorer, but just in terms of getting it done, willing it to happen, right? UConn can knock down that 3, scares me a bit, but as you said, I guess we could save it for Wednesday. Yeah, we're gonna save it for Wednesday. I got some stuff. I got things on my mind with that matchup. I made 2 brackets. Official bracket has Houston winning it all. Unofficial has Tennessee and Arkansas in the Final Four, with Arkansas winning by 3. Says Jared. Ooh, that's a ballsy pick right there, my friend. Weston Place, as I said, Arkansas going to 8. I called it. Let's see. Devo. Oh, I like that emoji there. I didn't know you could do that emoji in this chat. That's pretty neat. Chris Meadows says Woo Pig Suing. That's right. That's right. Let's go. They have 3 guys that look to get drafted, and I think Musselman is a decent coach. Bet 100 on it to win 6,000, says Joey Aragon. Okay. They have 3 guys. And I think decent coach. I think there's regular season Musselman, which up until this year, solid, right? Especially in the month, especially getting through January into February. March Musselman, or I should be more specific, NCAA tournament Musselman, I'm 2-0 on my picks right now with him. I didn't initially pick them over KU, and what transpired is kind of what I thought would happen, but I kind of leaned more on KU winning this thing by 8 to 10 points, but I also felt comfortable in that. Again, I woke up that morning, and I don't know. I thought on it over the night. I really liked what we'd seen. I liked what they'd done against Illinois. Learning a little bit more. What I hadn't thought enough about was their bench play. If Arkansas, who's one of the best at getting to the free throw line, could get KU into foul trouble, then that would force KU to have to either play guys in foul trouble, 3 or 4 fouls in the final 8-7 minutes or so. It forced KU to either go to their bench, which would be a mismatch because they're smaller outside of their center, or they're going to go with the guys on the floor and they're going to play with foul trouble, which is going to change how they do things defensively. And that is exactly what happened. Devo, it was like a hot knife through lukewarm butter or room temp butter. There was no one could defend him because they had to defend him differently. And Devo, he's not great at drawing fouls consistently. Black, I think when he's fully healthy and he sees an opening, he's gonna run the lane, man. He's gonna do what he can to get to the lane, get to the iron, and draw a foul. He was really good at that at certain times during SEC play. You saw Devo though. We saw this last year in March, right? He knew they're either gonna have to foul me or they're gonna have to give me the lane, and that is exactly what. And it just opened things up. And I'm not saying I saw that because I certainly didn't see Devo going off like that in the second half, but I thought they're going to have to either reach into their bench, which is thin, small, doesn't have near the talent. They can't go gap to gap with Arkansas or man-to-man to Arkansas. They're going to have to flex on defense. They're going to have to watch, the lanes. Arkansas can cut really well. They're one of the best cutting teams, and probably one of the best. I don't know where they are in the tournament, but they're certainly one of the better teams in the SEC at like those backdoor cuts. Jordan Walsh, who's a cut machine. I just felt like, listen, I think that's how they're going to win this game. I feel like, and I said this in the Discord halftime show. We didn't have a lot of people in there, but I said this. They need to get back to their game plan. Someone asked me, what's Musselman going to do in the second half? I said, here's what he's going to do. He's going to tell these guys to drive the lane, to drive, draw contact fouls, get to the free throw line. The secret sauce, though, isn't just getting to the free throw line, right? Now you got to add a little salt and pepper and some other ingredients, right? That means knocking down those shots, and they did exactly that, shooting unbelievably well at the free throw line. Where has this been? Where has this been all year? I don't understand it. Now, to be fair, I think there are certain teams in the SEC that are a little bit deeper, may not have the starting 5 or rotating 6 talent that KU has. Their rotating 6 is really good, really talented, right? Outside of that, Tennessee or the SEC was deeper this year, and that's shown if you look at Arkansas or the SEC's recruiting over the last several years with the higher quality of coaches coming in. You got another one now at Ole Miss. Oh boy. this league continues to show you, like, look, you need to believe in those net rankings, because not only are we getting, the talent to roll out with the starting 5 or rotate 6, we've also got 2 or 3 other guys that can come off the bench. KU just didn't have that, right? Which is why I said weeks ago, either here or in a Discord live, KU is one of my bottom 2 1 seeds between them and Purdue. And I be honest with you, I don't know that Alabama is as great. I know they've been tearing it up. Arkansas could have swept them. In Bud Walton Arena until the final 3.5 whatever minutes, that was toe-to-toe. And then they went on the road with some changes in their lineup and still could have won that game. I've never really been sold. My initial bracket had no 1 seeds in it. And we're seeing we're seeing some major seeds drop early, and we have seen that. But I kind of thought that Arkansas would find a way, but I thought it would be a physical, tough. It's going to take Arkansas the final minutes to find a way to dig in deep. I don't know that I definitely did not see Devo doing what he did. I didn't see Ricky Council doing what he did at the free throw line. I didn't know that Arkansas could do what they did at the free throw line overall from a shooting percentage standpoint. Again, I thought this would just be Arkansas finding a way to win the game. That's what they did. But in the way that they did it, it gives me so much hope moving forward, because they're doing things, and now they've done it how many games in a row now, right, in the NCAA tournament. Not bad, right? It's not a sample size of 4 or 5 games. I get that. But they're doing it on the biggest stage. They're doing it on the stage in college basketball, prime time, all this stuff with the lights are on you. Now the lights are going to really be on you. How do these freshmen respond to that, right? How do these transfers who don't know what it's like to play in a Sweet 16 team with all the emotions riding into the game, how do they handle this game, right? Again, we're going to talk about that on Wednesday. Let's see. What did Brooke Elping say? I don't know how we will be able to get to the rim. They have the 6'9" guy, and that coach will probably start the 7'2" guy. What do y'all think? Nathaniel Looney says over the top and yam it. Yeah. Hogs hope we aren't overconfident. Kansas was without their head coach, and we seem to play better when we use underdog card. They were without their head coach, but they were in game 1. Did you watch them in game 1? Didn't look like – listen, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like not having Bill Self was any kind of an advantage for KU, but they looked exactly like they did had Bill Self been there. They knew the game plan. They knew – the staff knows what Bill Self does. I mean, you think about what they have, what they've got going on there. It was a disadvantage. It's not unheard of that coaches – I can recall a time when Calipari got ejected inside that loud Bud Walton Arena, and Kentucky still won that basketball game, right? I can recall a time when Musselman wasn't able to coach. What was it? Was that last year before last at LSU? He didn't coach the game. You had to have someone off your staff coach the game. Arkansas won the game. Don't get me wrong. It is a disadvantage when you don't have your head coach, but it's not impossible that you could find ways to win those games. I get it. KU and all their fans are going to use that as an excuse, but they just got out-hustled on the floor. The Arkansas executed the game plan in the second half. That's what beat KU, not having Bill Self. Bill Self was at practice and around the team all week. That's what I had heard, and I heard he was with them that morning. So I don't know. I get it. I would probably be saying the same thing if Musselman wasn't available. That is something you have to consider. Sure, I'll give them that. But it's not like this was their first game without Bill Self. They've already played one game in the tournament and looked damn good. So that excuse only goes so far. Kansas assistant coach, acting head coach, has been with Self since 1492. That's pretty good. Jordan Walsh has absolutely come to play in the tournament. What I have liked, you go back to this Illinois-Arkansas game 1. Arkansas wins by 10. Again, Illinois was able to cut into that lead. We all kind of saw this coming. We've seen this script before, and Arkansas found a way to bounce back and increase the lead, end up winning by 10 points. What they've done in these last 2 games, and I think how they've gotten here, is not only just the execution on the floor, Yeah, they shot 27% outside, out in the perimeter against Illinois. They shot 38% from the floor. Had I told you those numbers, along with Devo Davis in foul trouble, Jordan Walsh, of course, in foul trouble. What else is new? Mekhi Mitchell with 3 fouls, Black with 3 fouls, Arkansas with 11 turnovers. Without giving you Illinois' numbers, had I told you Arkansas shot 38%, 24-63 overall, and 3 of 11 outside, you wouldn't have been surprised by that. I get it. You would have said, oh, okay, well, then we probably lost, right? The difference in this game, now, it's not like they needed free throws to win, but they shot 22 of 29, almost 76% at the free throw line. What? They did what? Oh, okay. That definitely played a factor. What was the other reason? Illinois 17 turnovers. Arkansas 12 steals, right? Illinois had 10. I get it. 43 to their 34 rebounds. Like they're starting to, and Illinois' got a little bit of size, right? They've got a little bit of size. They matched up with Arkansas, I thought, pretty well. And Arkansas still out-rebounded these guys plus 9. 11 to 3 offensive rebounds. Like, these are the numbers you start to buy in. Oh, that's why they got the dub. Okay. All right. Well, then let's look at the KU game. All right. Now, this is a little bit different because, there's not a whole lot of negative. I mean, you were 48%, 24-50 from the floor. You hit 5 threes. I mean, that's, oh my God, we hit 5 threes. Thank you, Lord, right? You were 38%. You hit 3 threes. My bad. You hit 3 threes. Let me correct myself. You shot 41%, 3 of 15, 80% at the free throw line, 21 of 26. They do it again. 75 now, or 70, almost 76% to now 80%. A 4% difference increase with 26 attempts at the free throw line, with pretty good bench production. 18 points, 4 blocks, 5 rebounds. Not bad bench production, but 80%. When was the last time they shot 76% and then turned around the next game and shot 80% at the free throw line? Now, again, I said they willed it in the second half. They did. They made it happen on the floor. You have to give all the love in the world to Jordan Walsh, right? We're not talking enough about the Mitchell brothers, despite the fact between the two of them they had just 6 points, 2 turnovers, and 1 block in that game. But it was Walsh, Walsh was also 3 of 4 at the line, 3 rebounds, just 2 turnovers. Of course, he would end up fouling out, but he had 10 points, right? Who was the Kamani with 10 rebounds, 4 points, just 2 turnovers. No blocks, but just 10 rebounds, 6 by himself, 6 offensive rebounds. I think he had like 2 or 3 on one possession. I mean, he just – that's what he is, man. He's got that dog in him. He played just 19 minutes against KU. But 41% from the floor, 20%. For some reason, I had it in my head they did shoot a little better outside in this game against KU. It was 3 of 15, 21 of 26 at the free throw line. Again, 8 assists. You were 11 turnovers. Not a great turnover to assist ratio, but 25 total fouls on Arkansas, 23 on KU. Yeah, they back-to-back games, they shot really well at the free throw line. They got some bench production. They're killing it on the boards. What was their rebound? It was 43-34, like I said. Yeah, plus 9 in the rebound category with 11 offensive rebounds. Kamani had 4 offensive rebounds in that game. That's 4 out of his 5 rebounds were offensive rebounds. You're going to take that all day long. If Arkansas can carry what they've done, the positive into this game, I don't know. Now, they still got a lot of things they need to fix, right? Sure they do. They got a lot of things they need to fix. Walsh versus Illinois plus 22 versus Kansas plus 12. Trey says Muss deserves a bonus. He really does care about his players and winning for the university. Congrats, guys. I think it's coming. I really do. Better pay him. Other schools are going to be calling. Yeah, so he's, what is he, the 9th highest paid coach at 4 point? I just saw that the other day. It's a little bit. Yeah, I certainly believe he belongs in that top 5. I do. I mean, he's 3 years back, 3 straight years in the Sweet 16 is just that's unreal. I mean, it's not unreal when you think about what the standard used to be here, right? Ty, I think we play UConn the same as Illinois. Illinois' front Blah, 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 blah. We hit our free throws. Again, Charles, we're going to talk about that on Wednesday. I'm trying to avoid UConn talk. I really want to save that for Wednesday. Connor McGrail says he's a hell of a coach. You're right, Connor. I agree. Hey, if you're new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button, right? Share the content. I appreciate everyone here. Patreon supporters, you guys are awesome. I really do. Ty trying his best to keep his predictions safe till Wednesday. Tony always got me, man. He's got the caption on or something. Tony's always got me. I gotta watch what I say because Tony will be right there. He's waiting. I'm a UConn fan. Nothing but respect for you guys. Hey, appreciate that, Connor. I think this is going to be a fun game. Hopefully it's fun for us. I'm just going to say for the Arkansas fans, but I think this is a very interesting matchup. Again, I hope you guys return on Wednesday and we'll break down UConn a little bit. Yeah, we appreciate the kind. It's nice to see. I know. Now listen. If you're still here, Connor, hear me out. Okay, treat this like a phone call. Please don't take Arkansas Twitter too personally. Okay, they get out of hand. They get wild. I apologize. Like it gets a little wild. Sometimes I'm a part of it, especially if you're an LSU fan. I'll make some corn dog references or something. You know. I'll pile on to Tennessee every once in a while, not as much lately, but I don't take it personally, please. Razorback Twitter is buck wild. Just don't take it too personally. Just take it with a grain of salt. Rub a little dirt on the ego. Hog fans have a lot of ego as well. Just be prepared, okay? It is going to get rowdy. That's what they do. They do it to everyone, especially if you're an SEC school. You're probably going to get called a Yankee and this and that, and you guys are going to hurl the inbred trailer park comments. We've seen it. We've heard it all. Let's just remember it's all in good fun, right? I know fan is short for fanatic, but, I can't speak for Hog Twitter, and I don't. I don't really. I'm not there much. I don't pile on. I don't. Lately. The older I get, the less interested I am in some of that stuff. But sometimes it's fun. Sometimes the camaraderie is a hoot. But just don't take it too personally, please. UConn fans are the same way. You don't think Coach will try and work Smith? Let's see. You don't think Coach will try and work Smith in more with more time to prep and as long as he contributes? But then he got scared. But then not scared to bench him again. Samuel Troyer. I don't know. I have no idea what he wants to do with Nick Smith. What I do know is at times when he's not on the floor, they find their rhythm a little bit better. They're finding themselves when Nick Smith's not on the floor. And that's I don't know what that has to do with. I definitely don't think it's Nick Smith just being overrated and blah, blah, blah. I think it really is. It goes back to the chemistry. It goes back to throwing him in February, mid to late February, when the chemistry was already being found. And then it's almost like square peg, round hole, right? It just kind of is what it is. And I don't know that they've ever found their flow with him in the mix. Some people complain about his defense. I think off and on he's ferocious on defense. And other times he kind of does look like he gets lost a little bit. I don't know what they're going to do with Nick Smith. I kind of believe that he might have a quick exit button. I'm trying to not use the term noose, but or short leash rather. I'm trying to stay away from saying short leash, but I think he might have a quick exit button for him. I think he might hit the exit button on Nick Smith a little sooner, and I hate it for Nick, man. I know he wants to contribute so badly. Listen, I like Nick Smith a lot. The fact this dude, he's risking so much coming back when you're talking about a potential lottery pick. I still think he is, just based on his on what he's capable of doing and being and developing into in the NBA. He does kind of strike me as someone who's going to probably need a couple of years in the NBA before you really start to see him develop. He's got so much promise. He's so quick off the dribble, man. He's got so much burst, athleticism. He's a 3-level scorer. I could not imagine what this team would look like had he not missed any time. I really think had they had been given a little bit more time, and I know someone's going to say, well, it's not like he hasn't played, however many games. I get it. He has played several games, but think about the rest of this team and how long they've played together, going all the way back to Europe. Where was Nick then, right? Going all the way back to their Maui tournament, think about how long they've had to develop together, and then you throw Nick Smith back into the rotation all of a sudden. I hate it for him because I know he took his Instagram down, and I always think, like, man, if Nick were my kid, like, I'd want to throw his phone away. I really would. I'd want to throw his phone away. Do not let these fans get into your head. Don't listen to the bullshit that they're saying on Twitter. You're going to get paid, young man. You're going to get it. And the true Hog fans are going to be behind you, supporting you 100%. And I feel that way about every ex-Hog. I really do. Like, I wish them the best, whether they're from here or not. The fact that they're Razorbacks, I do hate it for Nick. I really do. And him crying after the game, Devo getting teary-eyed, that was, different reasons, right? Devo just he kind of said it, right? And there was a part of him just takes some of it personally, what was said throughout the season. He wanted to prove people wrong, and he's done that. Nick, a little bit different reasons, I think. I think Nick feels like he might have let people down, and he didn't. He really didn't. I think these are good kids, man, and I wish them the best, no matter what they do from here on out, right? Whether they're going to be Hogs next year or not, I wish them the absolute best. Nick Smith Jr. will get his. Got to just keep grinding. I agree. I think his potential's through the roof in the NBA. Can you imagine if Nick Smith Jr. does catch fire? To borrow a phrase from Hog Past, oh my. Yeah, I agree. Okay, we need to get coaches' cams during the game for Hurley and Muss. That's just entertaining in itself. Yeah, right? Yeah. We haven't talked enough about that yet. We probably will on Wednesday. UConn's a great team. They're number one at one point this season, so being here doesn't surprise me. Yeah, UConn being here doesn't surprise me at all. I've got respect for UConn. We might shit talk a little bit. Again, nothing personal, but they definitely belong here, and I think they belong at the next level. It wouldn't shock me at all to see them win the whole thing. They're a really good team. Really good team. Hurley versus Muss in Sin City is crazy. I think it's the perfect setting, is it not? It's the perfect setting. It's going to be great, man. I'm really looking forward to it. Go listen to Bo Mattingly with Nick, Anthony, and Jordan interviews. They are great guys. Wish them nothing but the best. Same here, man. Same here. You put on that red and white Razorback jersey, you're going to gain a lot of support. Yeah, you're going to catch the haters. Those people, the trolls just exist. They exist everywhere. But Hog fans are behind this team 110%. And I think they're going to show up. I think they're going to show up in Vegas. I'm telling you, Northwest Arkansas, if you're flying out of Northwest Arkansas, you got XNA. I think the flights are pretty cheap. I don't think they're that expensive. So here's your opportunity. In Vegas, too, it's going to be easy to find. It should be relatively easy to find a hotel room in Vegas, okay? If you're having trouble, you may be booking like the day before or something. I don't know what to tell you. So you should plan, if you can, quite a bit of time there. Even if Arkansas does get eliminated, there's nothing like Vegas, man. Nothing like it on earth. Let's see. Do they leave tomorrow? I don't know. I don't think they leave till Wednesday. Now, I might be wrong on that, but I think it's Wednesday morning maybe, or Wednesday night. I think it's Wednesday, but I could be wrong. UConn win big, you dirty Hogs. I've never heard that one. You dirty Hogs. Oh, that was pretty good. Look, hey, I just imagined you dirty Hogs. Oh, that was pretty funny. I'll give you that one. Listen, that was pretty good. It's simplistic, but yet it was still pretty funny. Ty, I got UConn. Folk telling me we scared to play them in baseball. I don't know nothing about that. You dirty hogs. I don't know why that. All right. We did go an hour. Look at that. We made it happen. Captain. All right. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. I'll see you guys on Wednesday. It's around $750 round trip from X-Nay to Vegas. That's not bad. $750 is not bad, right? I haven't flown on a plane since before 9/11. I haven't flown on a plane since the last time we went to St. Louis. And that was, well, my dad and I. My wife and I have been a couple times, but when was that? 2000? 1999? It's been a long time. So is that cheap? Is $750 feels cheap. Round trip? Yeah, that sounds pretty cheap. The dirty hogs. Maybe that should be our motto. You dirty hogs. Oh, man. All right. This podcast, I'm not a podcast, all right? I consider this just a show, right? I don't know. I guess podcasts call themselves podcast. I'm not call themselves shows, but I'm not a podcast. But I do appreciate that. Can't wait to see the game on Thursday. See you in Vegas. Appreciate the comment, Joshua Walls. All right, that is it. Hope you guys enjoy. I'm going to play this video again for you that I put together at the end here. But shout out to all the sponsors: Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company, the Odd Soul, and Apex Tattoo Studio, and of course to Patreon supporters. You guys are awesome. Woo pig, and I'll see you on Wednesday.
This Razorback team stepped up big time.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. You deserve to take your shirt off. Hey.
Yeah!
Let's go! You deserve to take, because they could have easily folded in with